If ocean plankton disappeared tomorrow, humanity would not notice immediately. And that is what makes it terrifying. Because while life feels normal, the countdown has already started. Most people do not even know why. Ocean plankton produce nearly half the oxygen you breathe. Half. Every second. Let that sink in. Every second you are alive, you are breathing because of microscopic organisms. Invisible life forms floating through the ocean. Remove them, and Earth begins suffocating. Day 1, nothing feels different. You wake up. You breathe normally. Cities move. Planes fly.
Life continues, but something massive has already stopped. Photosynthesis in the ocean. And this changes everything. Because plankton do more than make oxygen. They form the base of marine life. Remove them, and the entire ocean food chain begins collapsing. And it starts small. Tiny fish lose their food source. They weaken. They die. Then larger fish lose theirs. Then predators. Then entire ecosystems. But humanity still does not notice. Because collapse underwater is easy to ignore. And that delay is dangerous. Week 1. Marine scientists notice something impossible. Oxygen production has dropped sharply. Panic begins quietly, because they understand what this means. The public does not. Not yet. But the ocean is already changing. Water chemistry shifts. Carbon absorption drops. And this creates another problem. A huge one. Carbon dioxide begins building faster because plankton absorb enormous amounts of carbon. Without them, the atmosphere changes rapidly, and now Earth begins heating faster, much faster. But this is still only phase 1, month 1. Fish populations crash in affected regions. Fishing industries begin collapsing. And now, food supply takes a hit. Millions rely on seafood. That supply vanishes. Prices surge. Panic buying begins. But this is minor compared to what comes next. Because oxygen levels are still falling. Slowly. Almost unnoticeably. At first, year 1. Atmospheric oxygen begins dropping enough to measure globally. Humans still survive easily, but the warning is undeniable. Scientists confirm the truth. The planet is losing one of its lungs. And now governments react. Emergency research, artificial oxygen generation, massive intervention plans. But nothing scales fast enough. Because replacing plankton is impossible. There are trillions upon trillions of them across every ocean. Humanity cannot replicate that. And now, phase 2 begins. Climate acceleration. Without plankton absorbing carbon, global warming intensifies dramatically. Weather becomes more violent. Storms strengthen. Heat waves worsen. Ice melts faster. And now, ecosystems collapse faster, on land and sea. Because Earth's systems are connected. Always. And when one breaks, others follow. Year 5. Oxygen drops enough to affect vulnerable populations. Breathing becomes harder in high elevations. Health issues rise. Fatigue increases. Respiratory stress spreads. And now, society feels it directly. This is no longer abstract. It is physical. And still, it gets worse. Year 10. Marine ecosystems are devastated. Mass extinctions underway. Fisheries gone. Coastal economies collapse. Food shortages intensify. And atmospheric oxygen continues falling. Slowly enough to adapt, but fast enough to fear. And now, we reach the chaos phase. Global instability. Climate crisis accelerating. Food shortages worsening. Air quality declining. Humanity enters survival mode. Nations compete for resources. Migration increases. Conflict rises. And now, the final outcome forms. Humanity survives.
At first, but the planet becomes increasingly hostile, less breathable, less stable, less alive. And eventually, without restoration, collapse becomes unavoidable. And all of this, from something too small to see, ocean plankton. That is the terrifying truth. The smallest life forms often carry the greatest responsibility. And losing them means losing balance itself. But this is still not the final species. Because next, we remove something crawling beneath nearly every ecosystem. Ants. And without ants, the world above ground begins unraveling fast.